A Porsche dealership in Munich just had its quietest month in over a decade. Not because people stopped wanting sports cars, because 600 kilometers away, in a factory the size of 80 football fields, a phone company started building something that looks exactly like a Porsche, drives faster than a Porsche, and costs less than half the price. That company had never built a car before 2021. By 2024, it had a 3-year waiting list. This is not a story about one car. This is a story about 8 vehicles, built across 6 Chinese companies that are systematically taking apart the segments Germany has owned for 70 years. Compact cars, executive sedans, luxury SUVs, even the off-road icon that has not changed its silhouette since the 1970s. Every one of them is being challenged right now by a car most Americans have never heard of. By the time we reach number 1, you will understand why VW just cut 10,000 jobs, why Audi delayed 3 electric vehicle launches, and why Mercedes-Benz's own chairman told investors that China is no longer the copycat. It's the benchmark. Let's count down. Before we get into it, if you enjoy videos like this, hit like right now. Subscribe too, so you do not miss what's coming next. Some of these cars will change how you think about what German engineering even means anymore. Let's begin. Number 8. BYD Seagull Dolphin Mini, the car Volkswagen can't afford to build. Volkswagen's cheapest new car in Europe starts north of $22,000. BYD's Seagull starts under $10,000, and it's profitable at that price. Not subsidized, not sold at a loss to buy market share. Profitable. That single fact terrified more German executives than any single feature ever could. The Seagull is small, it's simple, and it was never trying to be exciting. It was built to answer one question: how cheap can a genuinely good electric vehicle be? The answer includes a real infotainment system, a 250-mile range on the long-range trim, and BYD's in-house Blade battery, a design the company claims passes a nail penetration test without catching fire, something older lithium-ion packs generally can't survive. VW's response was a car called the ID.2, promised at a lower price point and delayed twice. Because building a profitable sub-$20,000 electric vehicle in Germany, with German labor costs and German supplier contracts, turns out to be almost impossible. BYD builds the Seagull in Shenzhen for a fraction of that cost, then exports it to Latin America, Southeast Asia, and now parts of Europe for less than Wolfsburg can even manufacture their equivalents. That's the bottom of the market gone. The next entry goes after the segment Germany considered untouchable, the executive sedan. Number 7. Zeekr 001, the shooting brake that undercuts the E-Class. Zeekr did not exist in most Western markets until 2023. Within 2 years, it was the car cross-shopped against the Mercedes E-Class and the Audi A6, and winning on paper almost every time. The Zeekr 001 is a shooting brake sedan, low and wide, with a face that reviewers keep comparing to a Porsche Panamera. It does 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds in its performance trim, quicker than an E-Class AMG that costs nearly twice as much. The interior uses a 15-inch central display, a 3D instrument cluster, and massage seats that are usually reserved for cars 2 segments up. Zeekr is owned by Geely, the same parent company that owns Volvo, which means Zeekr had direct access to European safety engineering, European ride and handling tuning, and European supplier relationships from day one. It did not have to learn how to build a car Europeans would trust. It already knew. Priced around $45,000 for a car that competes with $65,000 German sedans, the 001 did not just take market share. It reset what buyers expect an executive sedan to cost. And the next car on this list did something even more direct. It did not just compete with a German icon, it was styled to be mistaken for one. Number 6. Xiaomi SU7, the phone company that built a Porsche. Xiaomi makes phones, laptops, and rice cookers. In 2024, it launched a car, and the car looked so close to a Porsche Taycan that Porsche's own design team reportedly noticed immediately. The SU7 isn't just a styling exercise. It hits a top speed of over 165 miles per hour in its ultra trim, does 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds, and starts at roughly $30,000, less than a third of what a comparable Taycan costs. When it launched, Xiaomi took over 88,000 orders in the first 24 hours. Not reservations, paid orders. That's more units sold in a single day than some German performance brands move in an entire year. What makes this one sting more than the others is the founder. Lei Jun, Xiaomi's CEO, spent years publicly admiring Porsche's engineering, then built a team that reverse-engineered the driving feel his customers wanted and priced it for people who could never have afforded the real thing. Porsche didn't lose customers who were going to buy a Taycan anyway. Porsche lost an entire generation of buyers who now think a Taycan-shaped car should cost $30,000, not $100,000. That's the mid-tier gone. The next entry goes after the one thing German luxury brands still had left, the flagship. Number 5. NIO ET9, the flagship that swaps its battery in 3 minutes. The Mercedes S-Class has been the default answer to what does a chairman drive for half a century. NIO built the ET9 specifically to challenge that answer. The ET9 seats 4 in individually adjustable executive seating, includes rear seat entertainment screens, and runs an in-house 900-volt architecture that charges faster than almost anything German manufacturers currently sell. But the detail that actually breaks the S-Class's business model is the battery swap. Instead of waiting 20 minutes to fast charge, an ET9 owner drives into a NIO swap station, and in under 3 minutes, robotic arms remove the depleted battery and install a fully charged one. No plug, no wait. You get back on the highway faster than you would finish paying for gas. NIO has already built over 2,000 of these swap stations across China, with plans to expand into Europe. Priced from roughly $95,000, well under a fully loaded S-Class, the ET9 doesn't just match the flagship experience. It removes the one inconvenience every electric vehicle owner still complains about. Mercedes has no swap network. Building one from scratch, in Germany, with German real estate costs, is not a project. It's a decade-long undertaking NIO already finished. Number 4. BYD Han EV, the BMW 5 Series problem. From the flagship sedan, we moved to the segment where German pricing power was supposedly untouchable. The badge itself was the product. For a decade, BMW's argument for the 5 Series was simple. You're not just buying a car, you're buying the badge. The BYD Han EV was built to make that argument harder to defend. The Han does 0 to 60 in the low 3-second range in its top trim, seats 5 in a genuinely quiet, well-isolated cabin, and starts around $30,000 in China, less than half of what a comparably equipped 5 Series costs in the same market. Independent crash testing has given it 5-star ratings across the board, and BYD's blade battery technology means the Han's pack is rated to outlast the typical ownership period of the car itself. What actually hurt BMW wasn't the spec sheet, it was the sales data. In late 2023, BYD passed Volkswagen to become the best-selling car brand in China, full stop. Not just electric vehicles, all vehicles. That happened in the exact market where German brands had spent 30 years building their reputation. The Han wasn't the only reason, but it was the car most often cited as the tipping point. The moment Chinese buyers stopped seeing the German badge as automatically worth the premium. 3 cars remain, and they don't just compete with Germany's product lineup, they compete with the entire idea of what a halo car is supposed to be. Number 3. XPeng G6, the car that drives itself better than an Audi. Audi built its reputation on Vorsprung durch Technik, progress through technology. The XPeng G6 was built specifically to take that phrase away from them. The G6 runs XPeng's XNGP autonomous driving system, which uses cameras and radar to handle highway merging, lane changes, and complex urban intersections with minimal driver input. An autonomous capability closer to what Tesla promises than what any current Audi offers as standard. It starts around $28,000, undercutting the Audi Q4 e-tron by a wide margin, while offering a longer range and a faster charging curve. Audi's parent company, Volkswagen Group, was reportedly rattled enough by XPeng's software that in 2023, It signed a technical cooperation deal with the company, essentially licensing XPeng's electric vehicle platform and software architecture for future Volkswagen and Audi models sold in China. Read that again. The company Audi is trying to beat is the same company Audi's parent is now paying to help them catch up. That's not competition anymore. That's dependency. 2 cars left. And the next one doesn't undercut a German icon on price. It goes straight after the one vehicle Germany didn't even think was vulnerable. Number 2. BYD Yangwang U8, the G-Wagon's worst nightmare. The Mercedes G-Wagon has looked almost identical since 1979. It sells on heritage, status, and an unmistakable silhouette that says, "I don't need to justify this purchase." The Yangwang U8, BYD's ultra-luxury sub-brand, was built to make people justify it anyway. The U8 uses 4 independent electric motors, 1 per wheel, which lets it do something no G-Wagon can: rotate in place like a tank, and, if a wheel is damaged and the cabin starts taking on water, float and paddle itself to safety using its wheels as propulsion. That's not a marketing claim. It's been demonstrated on video, publicly, in a lake. Priced around $150,000, it sits close to a well-optioned G-Wagon, but it out-engineers it on nearly every functional metric while adding features Mercedes has never attempted. For decades, the G-Wagon's advantage was that nobody else was crazy enough to build something equally extreme. BYD looked at extreme as a target, not a warning label, which brings us to number 1. Not a single car, but the number that made every German boardroom stop talking about if China catches up and start talking about how much runway is left. Number 1. BYD's European factories, the number that ended the argument. In 2023, BYD passed Volkswagen in China. In 2024, BYD passed Tesla globally in total electric vehicle and hybrid sales. And in 2025, BYD did the thing that actually changed the conversation in Germany forever. It broke ground on a full-scale manufacturing plant in Hungary, inside the European Union, with a second plant announced for Turkey. For years, German auto executives had one argument left when Chinese electric vehicles got cheaper and better. Sure, but tariffs and shipping costs mean they will never be price competitive built in Europe, for Europe. A BYD factory inside the European Union erases that argument completely. No shipping costs from Shenzhen. No import tariffs. A Chinese-engineered, Chinese-designed electric vehicle built on European soil, priced to compete directly with a Volkswagen ID.4 built 40 minutes down the road. Volkswagen's response has been brutal internally. In late 2023, the company announced its first ever plant closures on German soil in its 87-year history, alongside roughly 10,000 job cuts. Audi delayed electric vehicle launches to rework pricing. Mercedes' own chairman, Ola Kalinius, told reporters plainly that Chinese competitors are no longer behind. In several respects, they are ahead, and Europe needs to relearn how to compete on cost and speed. That's the real story behind every car on this list. It was never really about a shooting brake or a battery swap or a car shaped like a Porsche. It's about a country that built an entire industry's worth of supply chain, battery production, and software talent in under 15 years, and then pointed all of it directly at the one country that spent a century believing this could not happen to them. 9 ways Chinese EV makers are taking apart German dominance piece by piece. A $10,000 hatchback that's still profitable. A sedan styled like a Porsche that sold 88,000 units in a day. A flagship that swaps its battery faster than you can pump gas. A G-Wagon rival that can literally swim. And a factory built inside the EU that erased Germany's last excuse. If you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe so you're here for the next one. Now I want to hear from you. If you had to pick one of these 9 to replace your daily driver tomorrow, which one are you taking, and would you actually trust it over the German original? Drop your answer in the comments below.